Hello friends, today we are going to discuss inheritance in Java. Inheritance is an important feature of object-oriented programming. So let's start with the first thing first. If we consider human as a class, which has properties like hands, legs, eyes, etc., and it has functions like human can walk, human can talk, human can eat. Now, male and female are two subclasses of class human. Both these subclasses have inherited all the attributes and functions of class human and also have added some attributes and functions specific to these classes. So we inherit our characteristics from our parents and also we have our own specific characteristics. So here we can say that we are derived from our parents and they are derived from our grandparents and so on. So similarly, in Java, it allows to inherit or use the properties and methods of one class into another class. And in other words, we can say derived class inherits states and behavior from base class. So here we can see one example. This vehicle is a class and these are two subclasses, car and bike. So vehicle is our base class, parent class or superclass. We can call it as a base class, parent class or superclass. These are subclasses, derived classes or child classes. These subclasses inherit states and behavior of this base class and they can have their own specific features and behaviors also. Now here we can see another example. This animal is a base class and it is inherited by two subclasses, cat and dog. So these subclasses inherit states and behavior of this base class and they can add their own states and behavior in their child class. How we actually implement this inheritance in programming? So we make use of this extends keyword. So this extends keywords is used for extending or inheriting base class. So the syntax is public class child class name extends parent class name, and here in this we can write methods which are specific to this child class and we can override methods of base class. So here we'll see one example here. So this is a class animal. It has a method eat and then this cat class extends this animal class. So here this animal class is a parent class or a superclass and this cat class can be is a child class or subclass and this cat class inherits characteristics of this parent class. And in cat class we have defined main function and inside this main function we have created object of this child class subclass of this cat class, and using the object of child class we are calling method of parent class. If we have not used this extends animal keyword then we cannot call method of another class using object of this class. Okay, because this class has inherited the properties or the base class, that's why we are able to call method of base class using the object of this child class. Let me show you how to execute this program. So here the same program is written. The class is created with the method eat and this cat class extends this base class, and using the object of cat class we are calling method of parent class or superclass. When we execute this program and see, we can got the output that animal eating. Same way we can have dog class which can extend this base class animal. Now when a class extends another class it inherits all non-private members including fields and methods. It cannot inherit private members. And derived class can add its own additional variables and methods, and these additional variables and method will differentiate derived class from the base class. And the superclass and the subclass or parent class or a child class shares a special relationship. That relationship we call as a is a relationship between them. So here this is a base class person and these are subclasses of this class person: student, teacher and doctor. So we can say student is a person, teacher is a person, doctor is a person. So relationship between this base class and the child class is we call it as a is a relationship. So here are few more examples. If vehicle is a base class and car is a child class, so car and vehicle have is a relationship. So we can say car is a vehicle, parrot is a bird. Similarly, we can say this surgeon is a doctor. Now question is why to use inheritance? What is the advantage of using inheritance? Inheritance is used to achieve code reusability. It promotes code reusability. It means the same methods and the variables which are defined in parent class can be used in child class, and it is used to achieve polymorphism by allowing method overloading. Now, what is the disadvantage of using inheritance? The main disadvantage of using inheritance is tight coupling. It means two classes, the parent and child class, gets tightly coupled. It means when we change the code of parent class, it affects to all the child classes which is inheriting or deriving the parent class, and it cannot be independent of each other. So that is the disadvantage of inheritance. Now we'll see one more example of inheritance. Here this is a base class teacher and it has two variables, designation and college name, and it has one method, and the task of the teacher is teaching. So this is one class, we can call it as a parent class or base class. Now this class is inherited by a class physics teacher. Okay, so public class child class name extends parent class name. So this physics teacher is a subclass or a child class of class teacher. Now this child class has its own variable main subject, that is a physics, and main method. In main method we have created an object of this child class, and using this object of child class we are printing variables of parent class designation and college name, and as well as we are printing the variable of child class also. And now we will call the method of parent class. Base class method also we are calling using the variable of this child class. And when we execute this program, this is going to be the output of this particular program. So this is how we can write program which uses the concept of inheritance or which extends base class. Now these are different types of inheritance: single inheritance, multi-level inheritance, hierarchical, multiple and hybrid. Java supports these three inheritance: single, multi-level and hierarchical. Multiple and hybrid inheritance is not supported by Java, but these can be achieved using interfaces. Now we will start one by one. So first we'll discuss single inheritance. It is very easy to understand if one class is extended by another class. So this is an example of single inheritance. So here A is a parent class and B is a child class. And this is an example. So class A, it has a variable A1 and one method which prints the value of A1. Now this class is extended by class B. Class B has its own variable B1 and its own method, and it has inherited this variable and this method of class A also. Now in class B we will write main function, and in main function we will create an object of class B, and using that object first we will call method of parent class show A, and then we will call method of child class B. And This is an example. This is going to be the output of this program. So this is an example of single inheritance. Now next comes multi-level inheritance. So this multi-level inheritance implements the concept of grandparent, then parent and child. So here class A is inherited by class B is inherited by class C. So class C indirectly has inherited the properties of class B as well as of class A. So here class A has a variable and a method, and class B inherits class A. So class B extends class A and it has its own variable and its own method. Now class C extends class B. It means by default class C is inheriting properties of class B and class A, both classes, and it has its own variable and its own method also. And in main method we create an object of class C, and using the object of class C variable we are calling method of class C, we are calling method of class B, we are calling method of class A, and this is going to be the output of this program. So this is multi-level inheritance. So let me show one program for this as an example. So here we can see the same example. Class A has its own variable and method. Then class B extends class A, has its own variable, own method, and inherits the variable and method of class A also. Now class C, it extends class B, and it has its own variable and own method. And now we created an object of class C, and using the object of class C we have called method of class A, class B and class C. When we execute this program we will get this output. So we are printing the data of class A, class B and class C. Next type of inheritance is hierarchical inheritance, when one class is inherited by multiple classes. So here example we can say this is a class A, it has one method A, then class B extends class A, then class C also extends class A, class D also extends class A, and in main method we create an object of every class. We create an object of class B, we create an object of class C, we create an object of class D. Here we can see this class A is a parent of class B, class C and class D, and using the object of class B, C and D we can call method of class A. So this is an example of hierarchical inheritance, and this will be the output. So here using the object of class B, using the object of class C and using the object of class D we are calling the method of class A, and the value will be printed like this. So this is hierarchical inheritance. Next type of inheritance is multiple inheritance. So in this, when one class is extending more than one base class, so that type of inheritance we call it as a multiple inheritance. Multiple inheritance is not supported by Java, but still it can be implemented using interfaces. The problem with the multiple inheritance that sometimes it can lead to ambiguity. So here we can see one example. So class A has a method display, and then class B it also has the method with the same name display. Now class C, which extends both classes class A and class B, and in class C we created an object of class C, and using that object we are calling display method. Now JVM will get confused which method to call, whether it should call method of class B or it should call method of class A. So this leads to ambiguity. So to avoid this ambiguity and complexity in design, this multiple inheritance is not supported in Java. But multiple inheritance can be achieved by using interfaces. So if a class implements multiple interfaces or an interface extends multiple interfaces, that we call it as a multiple uh, inheritance that is achieved through this interface. So here we can see class can implement more than one interface or an interface can extend more than interface. You can refer my video on interfaces to know more detail about these interfaces. Next type of inheritance is hybrid. It is a combination of single and multiple inheritance. Again, this hybrid inheritance is not supported by Java, but it can be achieved in Java in the same way as multiple inheritance can be. By using interfaces, we can achieve this multiple and hybrid inheritance in Java. Now, the use of super keyword. Super keyword is used to refer to immediate parent class of a child class. In other words, we can say super keyword is used by a superclass when it needs to refer its immediate superclass. The most common use of super keyword is to eliminate the confusion between superclass and subclass that have methods with the same name. So these are few uses of super keyword. First is it is used to access data member of parent class when both parent and child class have member with same name. So here you can see this is a parent class. It has a variable with the name of type string. Then this child class, it also has a variable with the same name. And now in this detail, we want to print the parent name as well as child name. So to refer the variable of parent class, this variable, to refer this, we can use this super keyword. So super dot parent variable name we can use, and this variable name we can use to refer the variable of this child class. So this is first use of super keyword. Similarly, this super keyword can be used to call method of parent class when child class has overridden that method. Third use of super keyword is it is used to explicitly call the non-argument default or parameterized constructor of parent class. See, constructors are not inherited by subclasses, but constructor of superclass can be invoked by the subclass. It by default invokes the constructor of parent class. We can use super method to call the constructor of parent class. But super or parameterized super must be the first statement in the child class constructor. Otherwise, we will get compilation error. We can call the parameterized constructor of parent class by using super keyword like this, and we can pass parameters inside these braces if we are calling or invoking parameterized constructor of parent class. But when we explicitly place super in constructor, then Java compiler will not call the default non-argument constructor of parent class. So the question is, can we use this and super in a constructor? No, we cannot use both super and this because super and this both must be the first statement inside the constructor. So we cannot use both of them together. Now let me show you one program for using this super keyword. So here, this is a parent class. It has a variable with the name. Now this is a child class. It also has the variable with the same name. And in this method, we want to print the both the variables of parent class as well as child class, but both the variables are having same name. So to refer the variable of parent class, we have used super keyword. So super dot variable name of parent class, and then here we are using directly the variable name to refer the variable of child class, and we are printing both the values using this super keyword. And in the main method, here we have created an object of child class, and using that object we are calling this details method. Similarly, we can use this super keyword to call the method of parent class. So suppose here we create a method display. Okay, and in this we write here, so I'm just copy pasting this thing. So here we print this, that calling parent display. Okay, so we are calling parent display. So this is a method of parent class, and if we have same method name in child class, if we have same method name in child class, and here we are writing that calling child display. Okay, and now we are calling this display method here using the object of child class dot display. And let me save this program and execute it. So when we call this method using this object of child class, so by default it calls this method of child class. But if we want to call the method or this method also, parent method also, so here we can use super keyword. So here I can give super dot display. So this will call method of this parent class also. Okay, so here this is calling this method of parent class which is having same name. So we'll save it and we'll execute it. So here we can see the output, that first it is calling this child display and then it is calling the parent display. Parent display. So this parent display. So we can use this super keyword to refer parent class members and parent methods. So next is access control and inheritance. The derived class inherits all the members and methods that are declared as public or protected. So it can inherit all non-private members. It cannot inherit the members or the methods which are declared as private. Private members can be accessed only in its own class, and if we are inheriting any method or member as a which is declared as a protected, so in the child class we have to use them as protected or public in subclass, or in child class we cannot keep them as private. Okay, so these are the few things which we have to take care while using the inheritance and the access control. So let's summarize this. Inheritance in Java can be done using extends keywords in case of Java class and abstract class, and we have to use keyword implements in case we are implementing or using multiple inheritance. So for this interface and abstract class you can refer my videos which are on interface and abstract class. I'll provide a link in the description box. Then what is inherited? When in Java, when a class is extended, the subclass inherits all the public, protected, and default. Default only if the subclass is located in the same package as a superclass, methods and fields of the superclass. And what is not inherited? Private fields are not inherited. Private fields and methods of superclass are not inherited by subclass and cannot be accessed directly by subclass. And constructor of superclass are not inherited. Constructors can be invoked but they are not inherited. And in case of invoking, that there is a concept of constructor chaining which determines in which order or in what order the constructors are called in case of inheritance. That's all about inheritance. Thank you so much.